It's Locked On NBA for Wednesday, July 9th. On today's show, load management in Summer League. Plus, the Spurs get more help from Wemby and Nikola Jokic as people wondering about his future. All of that and more on Locked On NBA.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
All right, welcome to Locked On NBA. Wes Goldberg here with Tony East. However, you might be tuning in on YouTube or on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. Jam-packed show for you today. The Spurs made another trade that we'll talk about in a second. Plus, Bradley Beal is likely on his way to a new team. But let's start with Summer League in Salt Lake City. No VJ Edgecombe or Ace Bailey on Tuesday night in these pre-Las Vegas Summer League games. Why aren't these teams playing their top rookies? Here's more from Locked On Sixers.
Talking about it on Locked On 76ers earlier today. Was this just part of the Sixers master plan to only play him one game, then shut him down until Vegas?
You know what? I mean, I know they're saying that he has some contusion, but when you listen to his interview after the first game, when he says next game, Vegas, basically saying his next game is going to be Vegas, to me, it kind of let the cat out the bag. I mean, he's listed day to day. I mean, let's be real. The NBA really wants their stars to play in the Vegas Summer League, right? And I think if he does have a little bruise, what do you want to do? You want to give him a couple days of rest so he can go out there and play, to his highest level. So to me, it kind of smells as if that they were going to shut him down after that first game.
Breaking, 76ers now tanking in the Utah Summer League. Can't put it past him.
Tony, what do you think about load management in Summer League? Is this what it's come to?
Yes, it is. I mean, I don't know if you were there last year, or 2 years ago. Thompson's get hurt in the first game. Like the league is very obvious how they schedule this because the schedule for Summer League comes out after the draft, right? They want the big rookies playing each other on the TV networks, and it's like literally the only non-baseball and WNBA sporting event happening in the summer. So they actually get TV slots for these games. And so it's like Cooper Flag versus Bronny and all this stuff. It's fun. We're both going to go. But it's also like, if that's the case, where you set up Vegas to be the thing, because all 30 teams there, why is Utah and California Summer League still a thing? Like, what is the point of this? If you're going to do those things, have those teams only go there, right? I've never quite understood the point of those smaller one-off 1-2 games there, and then you go to Vegas. I guess it's good for the players to get more reps, but it leads to this situation where someone goes to Utah to watch Chase Bailey or California to watch Khalil Ware's not playing tonight, right? Like, and they just don't see him. Like, what are we doing? What's the point of this?
It is a little silly because you've got a bunch of teams flying to San Francisco to take part of the California Classic. You have a bunch of these teams that are going to Salt Lake City to do that one. And yet you have a lot of these other NBA teams that don't do the California or the Utah one, just kind of doing a pre-Las Vegas mini camp, right? And I think maybe that was the intention of what San Francisco and Salt Lake City were supposed to be. But then as soon as you put them on TV and sell tickets against it, then it's not allowed to just be a mini camp. And these guys have to suit up and they actually have to play, where I understand these teams wanting to get these guys a little bit of run before they all, like, you don't want to just roll the ball out for the first time in Las Vegas and be like, all right, guys, figure it out. Like, you want them to have a little bit of experience. So I understand why this is a thing. In the NFL, you don't have this. You don't have Summer League or whatever, but you do get teams that will scrimmage with each other in the offseason. And that's what I think San Francisco and Salt Lake City are supposed to be, is kind of just like these sort of like little inter-squad scrimmages to kind of get some reps. But then again, you and I end up having to do a podcast after it and having nothing to talk about because the star players aren't playing. Nobody cares.
We get to do a podcast after it. We get to. No Ace Bailey, no Ware, none of the Grizzlies guys who were like all awesome out there. There's other games later that I'm sure nobody's playing for. It's just tough. Like right now, I think the most notable players playing in the 2 games happening as we're talking is that Johnny Broome is playing. Justin Edwards is playing. Like, they're real dudes for the Sixers, but like outside of that, it's a lot of like, maybe this dude will play in the NBA again someday. A lot of guys fighting for something. That's not it's proud. They should be proud to be here. Yakushonis is playing. He's 0-for-5 again. It's just not it's not the crop that everybody is looking for. Vegas will have the crop.
They will have the crop. Well, let's go from talking about some of the worst NBA players to the best NBA player. It was reported on Tuesday night that Nikola Jokic will not seek a contract extension this summer, and he's going to instead wait until next summer to have those conversations with the Denver Nuggets. Jokic has 3 years remaining on a 5-year deal worth $276 million. An extension that he signed in 2022. He can become a free agent if he wants in 2027 by opting out of the final year of his deal. He's eligible right now to sign a 3-year, $200 million extension. And he's eligible for this through October, but he's already told the Nuggets, yeah, I'm not interested. Talk to me next summer. Are you surprised by the news, Tony?
Yeah, so next year he could get 4 years for $285.5. That's going to be the main driver because breaking news, the Nuggets will offer Jokic next summer. But like, is it really news? Like, kind of, in that like Shea just took his extension a year early. Jalen Brunson took the low market extension a year early. Like, I don't think it's going to be a thing. But as the NBA money continues to just look like comically high every year, where it's like, how much money is that? Guys are willing to take a little less because the money is so big to help their team. And not all the time. I don't think guys should do that all the time. Guys taking the money is good. But it's always one noteworthy when this happens because of that. And two, I'm not ever going to think a Euro guy is leaving or demanding a trade until it happens. But I'm just putting a pin in the no extension on the team that their owner just on the record for no reason was like, man, it would suck to have to trade Jokic. And everyone's like, why did you say that? What just happened? And there's been like the smallest fake rumor in the NBA world for forever that Jokic and Doncic want to play together at some point. It's probably impossible, but you never know. So I'm going to give this like a 0.5% chance of being a thing, but I think it's a 95.5% chance that it's $80 million extra if I wait a year that I'm getting paid the same amount anyway.
Exactly. I think it's $77 million he can make in additional guaranteed money if he waits the next summer. No, I don't mean to nitpick, but that's probably it, right? It's the 77 million reasons why you just wait until next summer. Knowing exactly what you just said. Nikola Jokic can, knock on wood, tear his Achilles in the first minute of game 1, and the Nuggets will still offer that extension next summer. It's basically in the bag. So, yeah, why not just wait and get the guaranteed money when you kind of know that it's coming to you one way or the other? At the same time, I love the extra little layer to this conspiracy-wise of, well, Nikola Jokic, I think, correct me if you disagree or tell me if you disagree, I thought we saw Jokic about as frustrated as we've ever seen him since winning the championship last playoffs. Calling out teammates. That teammate is no longer on the team anymore. I think this is a guy who, even though everybody kind of looks at him as somebody that doesn't really care about things and whatever, this guy clearly is a high-level competitor who desperately wants to win and doesn't want to just be a one championship and done kind of guy. And maybe you learn from the LeBron playbook and say, maybe I can apply a little bit of pressure there. Maybe he doesn't mind those rumors about Luka Doncic being out there, true or not. He doesn't mind them being out there. He doesn't mind the owner of the Denver Nuggets wondering if Jokic will sign the extension. Maybe he likes the ability to apply a little bit of pressure here because he's seen the changes that they've already made, but maybe he's like, you know what else you got for me? Maybe these changes have been nice, but I got to see the proof in the pudding before I end up signing this extension.
That's always beneficial to get more information, right? And that, like, this is the proof of concept that you'd want if you're him, right? You get Cam Johnson in instead of Michael Porter. We'll see if that's an upgrade or not, but using the difference in the salary between those players to get Tim Hardaway Jr., to get Bruce Brown, to maybe get Valanciunas. We still don't really.
What if all of this hinges on Valanciunas?
Yeah. But like I think those three players, that last three I said, basically sum up to the salary difference between Porter Jr. and Cam Johnson. Like, if they're paying the same amount but get those four instead, I think that's a better team. And they were very good last year in the playoffs. They pushed the champs to 7. So he has a good team. And I think he'll stay anyway. But if they play well, there's no reason for him to leave. It'll just be like, great, $77 million more. Here you go. You can have a player option too. You're the best player in franchise history. But I'm just putting a pin in it after he said, oh man, it would be terrible if we had to trade 15. And everyone's like, What did you just say? Did you just say that on the record on purpose?
Strange can't ever be surprised in the NBA, right? And I think that's kind of what we're talking about here. But
we all love when owners go on the record. It's awesome. And then they say stuff like that. It's like, wait.
This is why you have some owners that are just better off, oh, that's why you don't talk to the media. Right. Got it. Coming up, we had a trade on Tuesday night that gives Victor Wembanyama even more help. We'll talk about that next. Coming up. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your finances felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. By using Monarch Money, I found that I was paying a ton of money, and I mean a ton of money, on food delivery services. And it motivated me to start planning ahead, grocery shopping on weekends, and save tons of money that now my wife and I use to treat ourselves to a nice date night. So instead of ordering in, we're going out a little bit less times, but a lot more enjoyable. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Locked On NBA. The best way to support the show is to like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on your favorite podcast app. We have a trade to report. The Wizards are trading Kelly Olynyk to the Spurs for Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, and a 2026 second-round pick. It's at least favorable of Dallas, Philadelphia, Oklahoma City. Not that anybody cares. This was reported late Tuesday night, and I think it's a really interesting trade, Tony. The Spurs clearly prioritizing surrounding Wembanyama with front court help that can also space the floor. This is going to be a key part, I think, of their identity, which makes sense given that you're built with not only Victor Wembanyama, but De'Aaron Fox, now Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, who's not exactly a floor spacer. And you look at Wemby, Olynyk, and then obviously they had signed Luke Cornett earlier this offseason. It's front court help, it's size, it's all of these things that help Victor Wembanyama so he doesn't have to play the 5 full time. But it's also guys who could space the floor, much like Wemby, right? Like, not these guys aren't Wembanyama, but clearly the Spurs are identifying and prioritizing big men who can provide that size while also spacing the floor for Wemby and their guards.
Yeah, I agree. The front court rotation was not particularly exciting. I mean, still Cornette's good and Wemby's great. Like, that's exciting. Wemby's so exciting. But like, Sohan, is he really in their future? What else they have? I don't remember Zach Collins and what the deal is with him right now. I think he's still there. I don't know. Whatever.
No, he's playing in Chicago.
But yeah, they have like nothing in the front court, right? So another front court piece, and Olynyk can like kind of shoot and kind of pass and kind of do lots of stuff. That matters. I was like, I'm pretty sure Zach Collins is gone. So that's good because they had no other bigs. Like, most of the other players in their team are like 3-4s and 4-5s who aren't really centers. Now they have a full, great, you can do this rotation. And I think most people believe that Wemby can play with another big. It wouldn't be awesome if they're not a good shooting big, but that is a nice versatile weapon to have as the Spurs. Honestly, to me, Wes, I think we knew this when they traded for Fox last year. They traded for Fox right before they found out about the blood clot, I believe, and they never played together. But it's just exciting to see Wembanyama's team going for it. This is such a small move, right? Branham never really plays. Wesley never really plays. Like, you look at the team they have, the guys they've drafted, they're probably not going to be in the mix. The second-round pick is like, who cares, right? But the fact that they're trading little things for like a real contributor is things you do when you're trying to get better, right? And win some games. And I'm excited for a Wembanyama team going for it, right? Like, they have a really, really solid top 7, let's say. They still have some young guys who are going to play in there that might be good, they might not be this year. But that is why I think this trade is exciting. It is the biggest tell of everything they've done that they are totally going for it this year, and that's exciting.
It's a great call, right? Because they're also looking at the teams at the top of the Western Conference: Oklahoma City, Houston, Denver, Minnesota. These teams are big. These teams can throw out multiple big men at the same time and put out some of their best lineups in doing that. And the Spurs couldn't do that. They had one big man, a great big man, a very tantalizing, exciting big man, but one big man nonetheless, and a guy who can, frankly, still get pushed off of his spots in Victor Wembanyama, right? If he's going up against those bigger guys, they needed some size, they needed some heft. I don't know that I would describe Kelly Olynyk as hefty, but Luke Cornett is certainly hefty. He's a big guy, and it's heftier than what they were. Maybe there's still another move for them to make, but I do think that you're seeing even Houston did this in adding Clint Capella, right? Like, I think you're seeing teams respond to Oklahoma City winning and Houston adding and things like that, and Minnesota being in the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row now by saying, look, size is really important. Size matters in the Western Conference. We need to be big. And the Spurs are going for it, to your point, and they're going for it in a way where they are responding directly to the top teams in the Western Conference, which I guess the next logical part of this, and before I get this last thing on the Spurs, can I just say one thing about the Wizards? Kind of like this trade for Washington, too. They went and got Cam Whitmore earlier this week. I like Blake Wesley. I like Malachi Branham. They're just like, I don't know, bring us all of your tired and young and hungry young players that never get to get minutes. We'll figure it out here. We're going to give everybody, we're going to roll the rock out and let everybody play with it. But the Spurs.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Wizards are going to have to cut so many players. They have like 18 real players with guaranteed contracts. Like someone decent or good or interesting is going to be cut by the Wizards. No, but yeah, this is what they should be doing, right? So
this is a classic overcrowding in schools where the teacher is Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart, and they're just like, look, we don't have the resources, we don't have desks, we don't have enough for these people.
That is the most hilarious team. It's just like the old vets who are like, why are we here? And these young guys who are like, why are we here? They'll all figure it out together.
The Spurs. How do you feel about them as a playoff team?
Yeah, I mean, if Wemby's awesome, which he was last year, like they could be really good. Their wing rotation is like full of good, not great, but not bad players. Vassell is good, Johnson is good, Barnes is good. Whatever you think of Castle, maybe he's a wing. Is kind of solid. I love the Champagne guys. And then they have Carter Bryant sneaking in as rookie. Like that could be like a pretty dang good forward rotation. De'Aaron Fox has been an all-star before. Maybe Dylan Harper's ready to do stuff. Castle is definitely a guard. Like if he's good this year, they have a legit like 3 guys at every position group who are good. They're a little thin beyond that, right? If they have to go to their 4th guy at all these spots, it's not as exciting. But I think that they certainly have the room to do stuff now. I think they only have 12 players under contract after this trade. So they're in a good position to add too. But if Wemby is as good as he was last year, stop right there. Like their net rating with him on the floor last year was good. They've added better pieces around him. Full stop. That's a good team. They have De'Aaron Fox. They're going to be better than that, right? So I think they're positioned well to be in the mix for top 8-ish. I don't know if they're quite like, this is a for sure playoff team this year. But when you have a transformational guy, like that could just happen all of a sudden. And so I like what they're doing. I like that they're slow building too. Figure out what works with your core. Figure out when the right time to hit the accelerator is, because Harper could be awesome. But I think they're going to be really threatening, and I think that they've shown that they believe that too.
Top 8, I think, is right, and they're going to be a hipster pick like they are the last couple of years to be like, oh, look at the Spurs, top 6. They're going to home court advantage in the West. Okay, maybe like, look, if Victor Wembanyama just keeps improving at this rate, he might just end up being one of the best 4 players in the league next year, and who knows what happens. But I still think their depth is a little shaky to me. They're one wing that I really like away, and frankly, a point guard away. Like I like De'Aaron Fox, I like Dylan Harper, I like Stephon Castle. Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle are still really young. De'Aaron Fox, as your lead ball handler, I think that there's some limitations there, but like, ironically enough, I would love if Chris Paul came back as a backup, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Could they also like De'Aaron Fox is still on an expiring contract? Like I think this, we'll see what happens there, but like that is a little telling to me. My radar is up on that one.
Guy. Yeah. We'll see what they do there. But yeah, I think I'm with you. To me, they feel like a pretty solid, at least in the play-in tournament, which is a lot better than what they've been the last few years. Moving on. Bradley Beal, likely headed to a contender, but does he move the needle? We'll talk about that next. All right, welcome back to Locked On NBA. It's time for a little segment we like to call Buy or Sell. We'll start in Phoenix, where Bradley Beal is expected to get bought out by the Suns and signed with the Clippers, according to The Athletic. Tony, buy or sell Beal as a good fit in LA?
I'm selling Beal as a good player anymore. It's like catching a falling knife a little bit, but I actually kind of think LA is the perfect team. That Clippers team is like the perfect team, right? James Harden was like the only guy who could dribble in their starting five at times last year. He saw a lot of pressure. Someone else to kind of be that release valve type will be helpful. I don't even know that he'll start, but if he is the third guy, that they always have him with either Kawhi or Harden, but rarely both. I think that's a good fit because then these one-dimensional players who are still good, your Bogdanovich, Chris Dunn, Derek Jones, go down the line for their team, all make a lot of sense and fit very well. And both of their centers, and Zubac and Lopez, can do enough stuff on both ends that they will be always pretty good on both ends of the floor and really good on one end. And so he fits there really well because they don't really need him to do a lot on defense. And he can still just kind of like, yep, I can still make off the dribble threes and move the ball on offense, even though he certainly is not that impactful as an efficiency guy anymore. He's not the greatest passer ever. They're going to be a team that's just like very reliant on ecosystem stuff because they don't have any good setup men. But I believe in Ty Lue specifically to make Brad Beal an ecosystem player. They've been described as the favorites for a while. I think that is definitely the best place for him. So a good fit if he picks there.
Yeah, I'll push back a little bit. I think Beal is still a good player. He's just not a $50 million a year player.
No.
And if you're getting him something at a portion of the mid-level, the minimum, whatever, like all of a sudden that looks pretty good. Look, two years ago, he averaged 18 points a game on 51% shooting, shot 30% from three, averaged 5 assists per game. And I say 2 years ago because last year Phoenix was actively trying to make him miserable, which doesn't feel like that's a great place to create good basketball. So, 2 years ago, his first year in Phoenix, I thought he was still pretty good. And if he's somewhere between 17 and 18 points per game and shooting 40% on threes, which he's done a couple times during his career now, he's a career 37% three-point shooter. So maybe 2 years ago was a little bit of an anomaly. But playing off of a guy like James Harden, who does such a great job at creating those open looks, and when you've got Kawhi Leonard in the post, attracting the attention that he does, Beal's going to get a ton of open looks, clean looks. And we saw a guy like Norm Powell feast on those things. And if you're the Clippers, you've essentially now, as long as this Beal thing goes through, and who knows, by the time people are hearing this, maybe it's already done. But if you trade Norm Powell for John Collins and Bradley Beal, that's a pretty good return, all things considered. You just basically you swapped out one rotation piece for two. Even if none of them in a vacuum is as good as Norm Powell, it's more of a quantity thing. And to your point, Beal definitely fills a need there on the perimeter for them. Go ahead.
Can we talk about something very quickly?
Yes.
I am endlessly fascinated by this new buyout right at the start of free agency trend happening in the NBA. I don't know if it's because the cap barely went up last year, so a lot of teams are up against aprons they didn't expect to up against. If it's a new CBA thing where teams are like, we have to have our spending in order all the time. If it's players realizing getting to your destination earlier is better because you can extend there and it just makes more sense, and that's part of why free agency is different now. Who knows? But like Ayton just had this. Beal probably will make up the money. He's going to have this. Dame got waived and stretched. Like that was obviously not a buyout, but that was crazy. Like I am very intrigued by, because you never see buyouts early in the year, right? Daniel Tice got bought out by the Pacers 2 years ago, went to the Clippers. Everybody's like, why'd they just do this in November, right? Like that felt early. And it just keeps happening earlier and earlier. And so Beal is a prime example, obviously, where his is extremely unique. He has to take like a specific amount to actually legally be waived and stretched. But I'm very fascinated by this new CBA opening up this whole like, wait, we're buying out guys in July? What's going on? And it's like kind of working for the players and teams, but that is very new and very interesting to me.
It's a great call, right? And I think there's maybe a couple of reasons. Number one, I think it helps to buy out the guys early because you're doing a solid for the representation for the agents. Or like, hey, we'll take care of your guy, take care of us down the road in some way, shape, or form. But also this new CBA, I think teams are making the calculation of we're going to either get slammed with luxury taxes, or we could just pay this guy the salary or most of the salary to just go away and then avoid some of the luxury tax implications. So if you're a general manager trying to increase the flexibility that you have early on in the offseason, you go to the owner, it's like you could pay Bradley Beal, when it's all said and done, $120 million or whatever the tax multiplier is, or $50 million. Which one would you rather do?
Yeah, right.
The owner might just like, all right, I guess we'll just pay him $50 million to go away.
I forgot Jordan Clarkson too, right? Like, it's just kind of it works for everyone, right? The Jazz don't want him anymore. He has no trade value. The Knicks do want him. Like, okay, perfect. It worked for him. It worked for Aiden. It's probably going to work for Beal. It's a very interesting new way of going about like these trade valueless players. And it's not even they don't have trade value. All those players are good. Like they signed with a new team immediately. It's just the new landscape of trades makes it harder for them to be traded for positive value. And this is one way for everybody to move around and make some savings in a way that makes sense.
Anthony Davis underwent a procedure to repair a detached retina that he suffered during the season. He's expected to be healthy for training camp. Tony, buy or sell? This is something that the Mavs should be worried about.
Yeah, every Mavs injury should be scary for them. It is obviously not a muscle thing or a bone thing, which is better. Doesn't that sound really scary? Detached retina.
I just imagine one of those prop comedy things with the glasses with the eyeballs just like come out. I'm pretty sure that's not what it is, but that's what I'm imagining.
That is funny. Yeah, there's a lot of like suggestion in the reporting that this might have like happened during last season, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, if Anthony Davis can see better, that's great. If it makes him shoot better, that's great. Any injury that makes it so he's like favoring anything or doing anything different is not great. So I'm not gonna say like it's a worry for the Mavs, but I saw Anthony Davis injured. Uh-oh, not again. Oh boy. But the Mavs, I hope they're not cursed because Cooper Flag should be fun.
I am selling this as a worry just because it wasn't a leg or a back thing.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, eyes, that feels like something that we've corrected before. Get glasses. I don't know. It'll be fine. Last one here. The Bulls reporter, Casey Johnson, reported that he does not expect the Bulls to offer Josh Giddey an extension that reaches $30 million a year annually, which is reportedly what Giddey is asking for as a restricted free agent. He is still unsigned. Tony, buy or sell Giddey as a $30 million a year player?
Probably sell. I understand how Josh Giddey and his reps are like, hey, there's Jalen Suggs' contract. We like that one. We want that one. And they're like, no, you're not as good as him. Mm-hmm. So like what did he not do that they would have wanted last year? Like he shot better. He played pretty well. Better than I think a lot of people thought for that trade that everybody hated. But he's still, I don't think a guy with his limitations as a shooter or defender is a $30 million player in the current NBA, but he doesn't have time to show more. Qualifying offer sucks for everybody. Like they want to find a resolution. I bet he gets mid to high 20s in the end anyway, but I am selling that Josh Giddey is a $30 million player right now.
I'm going to go ahead and buy it. I'm going to buy it. The NBA isn't about what you deserve. It's about what you can leverage. It's about what you can negotiate. And the Chicago Bulls got what else? This is the whole thing. They
are a team that would do that. Yes.
Right. And they would be like, I guess like if we don't have Patrick Williams, then what do we have? We got to give him $20 million a year. But this is a little bit different. Like Josh Giddey is a former top 6 pick, 22 years old, playoff experience, and played really well in his first year in Chicago, almost 15 points per game. He did shoot almost 38% from 3-point range on 4 3-point attempts a game last year. He's a rebound. He stacks the box score, rebounds, assists.
Right.
He does get steals. Like there's things that you like about his game. I thought he was really good for them. He's good. Big. He's versatile in terms of that size. You can play him at a couple of different positions. And I do think that with Billy Donovan as their head coach, he really leaned into Josh Giddey's strengths of the pace and space and playing fast and up tempo and all these things. And without Giddey, I just don't know, especially now with Lonzo Ball gone, I don't know who does that for you. And so I kind of think Giddey will eventually get something close to that $30 million a year. The $30 million is interesting because I think about Jalen Green, the extension that he signed last summer. And it's like, okay, where's Josh Giddey on the Jalen Green scale of I hope so? You know? And he's probably right around where Jalen Green was last summer.
I'm very curious about these 2021 draft guys in general anyway, who are in restricted free agency, because I think all the guys who have signed already did not get qualifying offers, right? Day'Ron Sharp and Zaire Williams. They went the unrestricted route. Most of the other guys who got paid got extended. Has anyone signed like as a restricted free agent? I don't think so, right?
No, I mean they either got the extension earlier or
Santi Aldama. He signed already with Memphis. I think he might be the only one who did not get extended, but has already signed going through specifically restricted free agency. Cam Thomas still out there. Grimes is still out there. Obviously, Kuminga is still out there. Giddey is still out there. all of them who are in. It's going to be a horrible year for restricted free agents, and that's another reason to sell. But it's the Bulls. They've done a lot of things and we go, wait, what? What are you doing? Why did you do that? So that is extremely possible. Yeah, that's crazy. Every single player in this draft class, besides Aldama, who's signed, was either unrestricted or extended. That's wild.
Well, the Bulls will certainly figure it out. We'll see. That leaves it. We'll leave it there for now. That wraps up Locked On NBA. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. For Tony East, I'm Wes Goldberg. This has been Locked On NBA. Thanks for hanging out with us.